Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a mi página. Mi nombre es Simone. Welcome back. And on our third try, I think that we are okay now. So thank you for joining. As the title suggests, we are going to be looking at how to master paper one. We're going to be looking at some tips, some strategies. We're going to be looking at a sample paper, and we are going to do it together. This live is meant to be interactive. So I want to hear from you. I want to see your answers. I want to see your questions, and then we will take it from there. Now, for the persons who are on, if you can hear me, just write Hola so I can ensure that you are hearing me clearly. Now, I'll be sharing a PowerPoint, and I first want to give credit to those who would have collaborated or worked on this PowerPoint. So, first and foremost, I'd like to thank, okay, I'm seeing your Hola, that means you're hearing me. I would like to thank Senora Poll Morgan. I would like to thank Senorita Lawrence. También Señora Smith Hamilton y Senorita Lovelace. Y yo, we worked on this PowerPoint that I'll be sharing, so I would love for you to see it. Hola Adrian, hola Sharena, Tiana, Jessica, Sashoya, Life with Trin Trin. Hola a todos. Espero que estén muy bien. Now, as you prepare for the exams tomorrow, as usual, I know it's natural for you to be nervous. That means your nervous system is working. But I want you are studying, you're practicing, you're attending workshops. For some persons, you might have visited the workshop yesterday that we did, but some persons were asking because they didn't get to come to the workshop and they wanted practice in real time. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. And then when we get to the practice questions, I'm going to share that on the screen, and then I'm going to read the section. And then you answer in real time. All right, so let's see. Now, what do you know about paper one? Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Is it that you did the exam before, Adrian? Or it's in the future? All right, so it says, what do you know about paper one? Now, let me hear from you. What do you know about paper one in the chat? Rapidamente. What do you know about paper one? Let me hear from those who are online. And for those who are going to watch this at a later date, you can write it in the chat now. Un minuto. Un minuto. You have reading comprehension. Okay. ¿Qué más? We have reading comprehension. We have two sections. Muy bien. So two sections, a listening comprehension and a reading comprehension. Do we know how many items are on paper one? Hola, Shadin. Okay, hola a todos. All right, seguimos. Now let me continue the PowerPoint. So it says, what does this paper assess? Candidates' ability to listen and understand a number of items, and your ability to read and understand a number of written items. So you're listening, and there's a section that is written. Now, how is the paper structured? The paper is structured in such a way where you have two main parts, which was said earlier, and it's further subdivided into 5 sections. So it's marked out of a total of 60. Part A, which has sections 1 to 4, has a listening comprehension. So you're going to listen to respond to some questions. So you're listening and then you are shading the correct answer. And part B, which is a reading comprehension, you are going to be looking at it and then you are going to decide which answers you want. Now, part A is 45 minutes and part B, lo siento, part B is 30 minutes. All right, so that's the duration of the exam, 1 hour and 15 minutes. So let's look at what you will do in each section of the paper. And feel free to put your questions in the chat. Hola, hola, yes, I see 60 items. Awesome. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. And once we get to answering the questions, I want it to be interactive. All right, seguimos. So for each section of the paper, in section 1, you listen to a single sentence and you'll choose from some pictures, 4 pictures that is. So here's an example of what section 1 will look like. So I would read something and you would select the correct answer. For section 2, you will listen to a sentence and that will be read twice, dos veces, and it will be followed by one question or an incomplete statement, and then you're going to choose the answer which best completes the question or the statement. And here's an example of what it looks like. So person says, Mama, tengo muchísimas sed, and this will be read twice. Mama, tengo muchísimas sed. Said, lo siento, ¿qué quiere esta persona? And then you'd look at the answer and you'd respond. Now, for section 3, and this is in the listening portion of it. So for those first 30 questions, you will hear a series of public announcements or selections followed by a number of questions. And for each announcement or selection, that will be read twice, and you will select the best response for each question. And it looks something like this. So for the first selection, we'll read, and then you'll answer 17, 18, 19. Second selection, 20, 21, 22. So, and then section 4, you will listen to a passage which will be read 3 times, and you will answer the questions in parts. So, a dream come true would be this one, and you study the question, make notes, and then you'll hear it 2 more times, because as I said, 3 times for section 4. Everybody's with me so far? Let me just make sure you're with me. I can't see, please zoom up. All right, no problem. This is much better. ¿Está bien ahora? ¿Pueden ver? Let me know if you can see it. Just waiting on you. ¿Pueden ver? Let me know if you're seeing it better now. Please indicate in the chat. Okay, awesome. All right, qué bueno. All right, seguimos. A little more. Let me see if it's possible for me to make it a little bigger. Un momento. All right. Okay, let me know if that's okay. Tell me if that's okay. I had to take it down to come back to the screen, but let me just make it a little bigger. All right, seguimos. So then we are going to be looking at general tips and strategies for paper 1. So we're going to be looking at some tips and strategies. Now, the first thing, answer all questions. Please, please, please do not leave any question and you can't leave any question unanswered, because if it's marked out of 60 and you don't do 10 questions, you're saying to the examiner, okay, you can only give me as much as 50 out of 60 if you get everything right. So give yourself the chance you deserve and answer all questions. Now, whenever you're going to leave something, if you see something and you're not sure of the answer, you're going to come back, please put an asterisk or a mark there that you know that mark is telling me that I did not do this one. All right? Please put an asterisk. All right? All right. So, seguimos. Try to identify alternatives, so all the possible plausible answers, because there are going to be some distractors. There are going to be some things that we know that this cannot be the answer. We know from looking at it that this is not the answer. So I want you to bear that in mind, and then check to ensure that you've answered all the questions, because whenever you are finished, you want to go through and make sure you've answered all questions and know how to use the process of elimination. So as I said before, there's some definitely not the answer, but because of how the exam is structured, at least two will look close, and so you will have to use the process of elimination. So you say, okay, might be this one, it might be this one, but based on the context or based on what I know about tenses or what I know about the position of adjectives, this could not be it, so that you can get your answer. All right, seguimos. Now, tips for the listening comprehension. Now, before you listen, before the sentence is read, study the pictures. Remember, you're going to be seeing 4 pictures for the first section, as I had shown you before. So you're going to take note of the differences, and then you predict what the question might be. So if you see somebody standing, somebody running, somebody jumping, and somebody eating, and if the question says something about eating, then you might say, okay, this must have been it. But if there are 2 persons eating, then you might have to say, oh, did it say ella está comiendo, which would be one person, or ellos están comiendo? Because you might be seeing the same word comiendo, but you have to now know, is the subject one person or more than one? Or was it las chicas or los chicos? So please bear that in mind. And associate what you hear with what you see. So you're listening and you're looking, and then you choose the best option that fits perfectly with what you see. Yes, that's definitely from 1 to 9. See, or 8 Creole. See. All right, so you're going to listen for the action. So listen for the verb. As I said before, comiendo, or ella está bailando, or ellos comen pollo, or yo bebo jugo de naranja. So I drink. Listen for the verb and the doer. Is it yo, él, ella, usted, or nosotros, depending on who? Look at the gender. Did it say las chicas? This is a group of girls. Or did it say los chicos, which could be a group of boys or a mixed group with girls and boys? Or did it say él? In this case, él significa he, and ella would be she. So you want to look at the gender and the number. Also, you want to listen for other reporters, like what, where, how, all of those. And a number of questions should be generated and could be generated from the following sentence. So if I say, ella bebe agua todos los días. Ella bebe agua todos los días. The question, who is the subject of the sentence? Who? This is a 2008 specimen paper. I'm going to be sharing that on the screen, the student copy, and then I'll read the teacher's copy. All right, muy bien, she. All right. Right, I did say ellos can be boys and girls, but ellas is girls only. And the same with chicos, could be a mixed group of boys and girls, but chicas is girls only. I see your question, live with Trin Trin. All right, ella, she, muy bien, she. And I said that ella bebe agua todos los días. So what's the verb in the sentence? What's the verb in the sentence? Bebe. ¿Qué significa bebe in this case? Based on this sentence. To drink is beber, but what did the sentence say? She drinks. And what is she drinking? What did I say she drank? She drinks what? Water. Muy bien. And when? How often? How often? Ella bebe agua todos los días. How often does she drink water? Every day. Muy bien. And so that's important for us to know. From that short sentence, we're able to say who, what. So we can tell who is doing what and how often. All right, muy bien. Look at this example. En la mañana, la mujer prepara los plátanos en casa. And we said who is doing the action? Ella in this case. What is she doing? Prepara. What is the action being done to? Los plátanos. Where? En casa. ¿Cuándo? En la mañana. So it's very important when you hear a sentence to know, and because especially if you're looking at the pictures, you want to know who, what is being done. Did it say that the person has a pencil in their hand or a book or a sharpener? We have to know which it is. All right, seguimos. And while we're here, feel free to share this live with any one of your friends who you think can benefit. Those who are doing exams tomorrow. All right, know your parts of speech. So, nouns. I need each person to give me a noun in the chat. Just any noun that comes to your mind in Spanish. Let me change like a noun related to home and family. Let's use some context. A noun related to home and family. Any noun. Noun. Remember, we're not looking for adjectives now. I'm seeing some adjectives in the chat. Nouns. Remember, a noun is a thing, a place, a person. It's including the numbers, date, and time, etc. All right. Abuelos, casa. Con is a conjunction. Football, coche, la mujer. All right, give me two. Dos más. Autobús. Muy bien. Zapatos. Muy bien. Now go ahead and give me an AR verb. I need an AR verb. I see mi casa, hermanito. These are nouns. Can I have un verbo, por favor? A verb that ends with AR. Try not to write one that you see in the chat already for the AR verbs. Hogar, hablar. And this one doesn't have to do with home and family. You can just give me a verb. But please do not use one that you're seeing already. I see hablar already. So let's not use hablar. Andar, cocinar. Caminar. Jugar, tomar. Muy bien. Dos más. I need two more. Jugar, mirar. Muy bien. Muy bien. So know your pronouns. Él, ella, usted, yo, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Your object, so me, your object pronoun and your indirect pronouns. So me, te, lo, la, le, nos, los, las, les. Know them. All right, I see more. I see trabajar. Hola, Renee. And guys, please check out Renee Grant's channel. She's here. Es profesora de español. Please check out her channel after you've left this live. Terminar, tocar. Jodian Campbell. No, not dollar. Casar. I see you have a question mark. No. You have dolor, which is pain. Casar, hablar, continuar. Planchar. Muy bien, muy bien. All right. Parts of speech. So we continue with our reflexive pronouns. We have to know when do we use a reflexive verb. And if you check my CSEC playlist here, you'll see that. So guys, if you need to do some catching up, you can check my CSEC playlist. But when do we use the reflexive verbs? Can anybody tell me in the chat? When do we use the reflexive verbs? ¿Cuándo? when the action is being done to oneself. Awesome. So me baño, those words. So bañarse, me levanto. Muy bien. All right. Adjectives. Now we have grande, hermoso, pesado, organizado, bien vestido. I need to hear some adjectives from you. I want to see. Think, think about an adjective and go ahead and write it. Any adjective that comes to mind, we're trying not to write one that we see in the chat already. Alto, blanco, ¿qué más? I'm looking at your responses. Hola, Shardane, Lydia, pequeño, Italia, bajo, bajo. Two persons are bajo at the same time. Cansado, muy bien. Atrevido, bonito, inteligente, ocupado. All right, seguimos. Adverb, so like lentamente, felizmente. Those words, usualmente, frecuentemente. Please bear those in mind. Your prepositions. En, por, abajo, arriba, adentro. Please bear those in mind. Now, you want to study carefully. You want to study the responses carefully so that you can predict the questions. Because once you see the responses, then once you hear the question, you have a better understanding of maybe this is the one that I want or this is the one that I should put. So you can determine the correct answer. Once you hear the question, then you would have seen, oh, I looked at it and based on the question, I'm seeing that this person, it was talking about somebody walking. This is the only one I'm seeing with somebody walking. But after, even though you're studying it, please don't jump the gun and say, this is the answer without looking at the others. Because how this paper is set up, more than likely, at least two will look very close. So please bear that in mind. Do not jump the gun. Listen carefully to each question in its entirety before selecting your response. So I know you might say, oh, yes, based on what it is, this is the answer. Sí, puede ser. However, ensure that you look at each one. Listen to everything and look at it carefully. Okay? Vale. Now, the reading comprehension. So we look at listening. We say we're going to listen clearly. We're going to look at the pictures or we're going to look at the statements and we are going to listen. Now, even before I continue and talk about the reading comprehension, this is very important. I don't want us to go in the exam with the preconceived notion that it's going to be difficult or I won't be able to understand what the person is saying. Because usually for the listening exam, it's a teacher from your school that is reading for you. And even if that was not the case, you have been preparing for Spanish and you got this. Because sometimes our brain or mind, if we decide that, I can't read it, I can't do it, or no, it's going to be hard or it's going to be difficult, then we go in there with this pent up frustration or anxiety and you're extra nervous. It's natural to feel some amount of nervousness, but you are so nervous to the point that the person says, ¿Cómo te llamas? Regularly. And you're like, I don't understand. And you know what it's saying. Or they say, okay, ahora voy a leer. You're like, what is that? What is that? No. So please, before I continue, make sure that you know that you have been preparing for this. Go in the exams, you're working on your vocabulary, and just prepare and just sit and listen. Don't think about what you're going to eat tomorrow or what you're going to do after. Be present in the exam, in the time that you have. Hour not 15 minutes. Sit and focus on the exam. You're almost there. I'm so proud of you for all that you've been doing. And I know you're going to do well. Seguimos. All right. So items 31 to 60, reading comprehension. So we have a listening portion. Now is a reading comprehension. So for section 1, each of the following sentence contains a blank space. Below each one are 4 suggested answers. You're going to select the answer which is best for the completion of the sentence. Then you're going to blacken, or we call it shade, the corresponding space on the answer sheet. And I cannot stress this enough, that if you, for example, you at number 31, you say, I'm not sure about this answer, I'll come back to it. Please put a dot or a star or a line or something to know that, all right, I did not complete this, because you don't want to put the answer for 32 in the space for 31, and then going down, everything else would be in the wrong space. And when you get to number 60, you're like, what? Because you have now shaded up to 59. So please, please, please put an asterisk, or whatever mechanism you decide that you're going to use. But do not leave it blank and say, oh, I'll remember. No. And especially if it's more than one, please put a mark beside it. And definitely, you got this. All right. So, the strategies, along with all the other strategies for the listening that we gave you before, in addition to all of that, look out for false friends. So definitely they're trying to check your vocabulary. So we want to see if you know what it is that you're doing. So words like la sopa, you might see cooking happening and you might see la sopa and you're like, yes, this is easy. This must be soup. No, that is not soup, that's soap. And you're not going to cook soap. So you want to bear that in mind. You have amigos falsos, embarazada. Oh, they might say, oh, the person had a bad day or fell or something. How is the person feeling? And you see embarazada and you're like, yes, this must be embarrassed. No, it's not embarrassed. Embarazada means pregnant. So you want to make sure you know falsos amigos. Also, you have your cognates. So some of them sound exactly as they are, but you have to look out for amigos falsos. Use context clue. Based on what it's saying, based on the context, then you should have a better understanding of what to do. And be mindful of the words and vocabulary, and it gives you an indication of the tense. So if it says ayer, that means it must be the past tense. Can't be ayer and then you're using the present tense. If it says ahora or hoy, then it would be the present tense. And if it says el año que viene, la semana que viene, el mes que viene, that will help you to understand if it is the future tense. All right. Okay. No sé. Ideas. I did. I made a mistake. Lo siento, Johan. I mistakenly put you on timeout, and that was not intentional. Lo siento. All right. Seguimos. Know your synonyms and antonyms. So you want to know your synonyms and antonyms. You want to differentiate words in English that are said differently. So la vez, la hora, el tiempo. La hora is referring to the time, like on the watch. ¿Qué hora es? Cada vez, each time. So you want to look at the various things. All right, so fun fact. While you're preparing, remember to study words in context and based on themes. And as we said, not randomly. So you can study words related to home and family, school and career, sports and recreation, travel. You want to study them in context so that when you see them in context, you know how to use them. So apply your grammar rules. Prepositions, so you want to know some prepositions that follow a verb, the use of your tenses and moods, the purpose, your context and conjugation, and the agreement of adjectives. What do we know about the agreement of adjectives as it relates to noun? All right. So we say that the adjective must come after the noun. So if we want to say it's a big house, in English we'd say big and then house, but in Spanish we'd say casa grande. Muy importante. Muy importante. Lo siento live with Trini. I'm not sure what's happening. It's saying that I put you on timeout. All right. If the noun is plural, the adjective must be plural, right? So it must match in number and gender. So if it's one house, la casa grande. More than one, las casas grandes or las casas blancas. So we have to bear that in mind. Muy bien. Now, let's look at for the sections with missing words and phrases. You're going to read the entire sentence or the paragraph before attempting to fill in the blank because you want to get a gist of it. And this will help you to select the most appropriate response. Then read over after you fill in the blank and see if all of it come together. So that's rather important. So you want to make sure that you read the entire sentence or the paragraph to understand what it is that it is saying. All right? Seguimos. For sections with questions based on an extract, for example, the announcement or the advertisement or a short story, you may read the questions and responses first, as this will help you to preempt and determine the responses as you read. And again, use the process of elimination when the answer doesn't jump at you. So throughout, you are going to be using the process of elimination. Muy bien. Seguimos. Now, vamos a practicar. Let's practice. So, let me go ahead and I am going to be reading. We're going to practice now, so I'll share it on the screen. Let me share something else on the screen ahora mismo. And I'll be sharing the document on the screen. Again, Johan, I must apologize. I saw where it put you on timeout. Lo siento muchísimo. All right, so let's see if you can see my screen. And as I said, this is the 2008 specimen paper. All right, so in this section, we're going to be reading, and you have 15 seconds. So 15 seconds, I'm going to try to time it so that we are using the correct timing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1, 2. So for here, this goes from 1 to 8. And so I'm going to go from 1 to 8. You write down your answers on a piece of paper or whatever you have near to you. And then we will do them based on sections because I want to be consistent with the 15 seconds. So if you need to get a paper, let me give you a moment, un momento. And I'm going to give you un minuto. Hola, Rose TV. Hola, hola. All right. So I'm going to give you, now you have 50 segundos, 50 seconds to get a paper or something to write because we're going to do them based on sections. So once I go to 8, then we can look at the answers for those. Or we could complete the paper and look at the answer, whichever one you prefer. All right, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I think everybody would have their papers by now. And we are going to begin. I'm going to be reading the instructions from the teacher's script. And please tell me, let me see what you're seeing on the screen. All right, you're still seeing, no, you're going to be seeing my teacher's script. Hold on, I have to read it from another device. Let me put back yours on the screen. Cuánto lo siento. Un momento. All right, so I'm going to put back yours on the screen and I'm going to read from another device. So let's go. All right, so here is yours. Yours should be on the screen. Let me make it bigger. All right, back to yours on the screen. And then I'm going to read. Como dije antes. Un momento. All right, so let me see your question. Where can we get the teacher's script? All right, let's see. I should be able to share it with you, so I will do that at the end of this. I will double verify. I'll make sure that that's okay, and then I will share it with you once it's okay. All right. So we have our pens and papers close by, and I have to pull it up from my email now because if I move it, you are going to see it. Puede ser que yo puedo. Estoy aquí. Just pulling up that for you so that I can read. All right, so un momento, por favor. All right, so estoy aquí. I think this, all right, we're ready now. Teacher script. Listos. All right, vamos. Número 1, and remember we're using 15 seconds. So for number 1, no se sienten bien. Número 2. Los jóvenes con su perro charlan al aire libre. And I'm counting to 15 seconds. Número 3. Ambos caminan hacia la playa. Lo siento. Let me go back to number 3. I just realized you weren't seeing it. Ambos caminan hacia la playa. Mirage, I don't know if it's your hand, but you hid life with Trin. So, número 3, ambos caminan hacia la playa. Because you weren't seeing it, that's why I read it a second time. Because it should be once. Ok, seguimos. Número 4. Los señores van a comer enseguida. Seguimos. Ella tiende el mantel. Número 6. Ellos miran mientras que ella le entrega el regalo. Número 7. El conductor maneja el autobús. Número 8. Él está mostrándolo la foto. De nuevo, él está mostrándole la foto. Número 8. That's number 8. Do you guys want us to just continue so it can go in the exam flow and then we go through the answers after? I think that would be great as opposed to stopping so that we can feel the time and everything for the exam. And then we go through the answers. So, for section 2, In this section, you'll hear a number of situations. Each situation will be read twice and will be followed by one question or incomplete statement. 4 suggested answers for each question are printed in your test booklet. For each question, choose the answer which best completes the question or statement. For example, you'll hear, Mama, tengo muchísima sed. Mama, tengo muchísima sed. ¿Qué quiere esta persona? And after examining, you would select the answers as I would have said before. Now, question number 9. Remember, this section will be read twice. I see your question, Trudy Ann, but let's not, where you are going to answer the question and you are going to be able to do this. You got this. This will be read twice though in section 2. So if you didn't get it the first time, you'll get it the second time, I'm sure. All right, so let's look at question number 9. No me quedan bien. Son demasiado grandes. No me quedan bien. Son demasiado grandes. ¿Dónde está esta persona? ¿O dónde está este cliente? ¿Dónde está este cliente? $15 seconds. 15 segundos. Ok, 10. ¡Ay, qué tráfico! ¿A qué hora voy a llegar a casa? ¡Ay, qué tráfico! ¿A qué hora voy a llegar a casa? ¿Dónde está esta persona? ¿Dónde está esta persona? All right, let me zoom up the screen. I see somebody saying that they can barely see it. Let's see if that's a little better. Si pueden ver la pantalla. Let me see it on the screen. All right, seguimos. 11. Por favor, ¿tiene usted alguna medicina para el dolor de cabeza? Por favor, ¿tiene usted alguna medicina para el dolor de cabeza? ¿Dónde está la persona? Número 12. El jefe no está aquí hoy. Está de vacaciones. El jefe no está aquí hoy. Está de vacaciones. The question is, ¿quién habla? ¿Quién habla? Seguimos. Raúl, tienes que salir ahora. Recuerda que necesitas llevar una toalla. Raúl, tienes que salir ahora. Recuerda que necesitas llevar una toalla. ¿A dónde va Raúl? Ok, seguimos. Número 14. ¿Por qué no, ¿Por qué no vamos al partido de fútbol esta tarde? Según el periódico, va a ser fenomenal. ¿A dónde van estas personas? ¿Por qué no nos vamos al partido de fútbol esta tarde? Según el periódico, va a ser fenomenal. ¿A dónde van estas personas? 15 segundos. Ok, seguimos. Pablo besó a Carlota y le puso un anillo en el dedo. ¿Quién es Pablo? Pablo besó a Carlota y le puso un anillo en el dedo. ¿Quién es Pablo? Dieciséis. ¡Qué día tan maravilloso! ¡Qué alegría! ¡Qué día tan maravilloso! ¡Qué alegría! ¿Cómo se siente esta persona? Okay, seguimos. Now we're gonna move to section 3. Un momento. All right, so let's move on. In this section, you will hear a series. Un momento. In this section, you'll hear a series of public announcements or selections, followed by a number of questions. Each announcement or selection will be read twice. For each question, there's a choice of 4 responses or completions. Select the best response and blacken the corresponding space on your answer sheet. There is no sample question for this selection, or for this section rather. All right. Seguimos. So that's for, we're going to read this twice. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles de la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando los animales. Kayla, what's happening? I see you say go to settings. All right, la segunda vez, I'm gonna read it again. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles de la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando los animales. All right, so you're going to respond to 17, 18, and 19. Let me just ensure that you can see 19. Let me put it up some more. Okay. And while you're doing 17, 18, and 19, I'm going to try to work on what Kayla said. Parece que ahora no puedo hacerlo, Kayla. It's not giving me the option. Hold on. Momento. Oh, lo siento. I see that some persons are seeing it blurry. No sé. All right, what I'll do, I will also post, I'm going to screenshot it and post it on my Instagram. So later on, you can look at the questions also. My Instagram is Espanol underscore in underscore Jamaica. Oh, it's good now? Okay. All right, seguimos. Let's go to the second selection. Atención, atención. Se informa a todos los clientes que dentro de 20 minutos empieza la gran oferta del año. Todos los productos, incluso los que ustedes tienen en los cochecitos, ahora estarán a mitad de precio. Okay, so for those who are saying that it's blurry, I'm seeing where persons are saying go to settings and put it in 720p, 720p, and so that should help you. Giovanni is saying it's working for him. Okay. All right. Second time reading. Atención, atención. Se informa a todos los clientes que dentro de 20 minutos empieza la gran oferta del año. Todos los productos, incluso los que ustedes tienen en los cochecitos ahora, estarán a mitad de precio. Now, ¿dónde están las personas? That's 20. And I just realized I didn't read 17, 18, and 19, the questions for you. All right, let's look at 20 and then I'll come back to that. ¿Dónde están las personas? $21. ¿Qué va a tener lugar? This is the 2008 specimen paper, pearly white. Número 22. 22. ¿Cuándo va a tener lugar? ¿Cuándo va a tener lugar? And I'll have to go back to the top and read 17, 18, and 19 for you. No, do not write the answers yet. Rihanna, don't put the answers in the chat just yet. Guys, again, feel free to share it with your friends so they can come on the live. All right. So I have to go back and read 17, 18, and 19 for you. So I'm going to read the selection once more. Damas y caballeros, nos gustaría informarles de la exhibición que tendrá lugar hoy a las 2:30 en el Parque Dorado, al lado de la Casa de los Monos. Por favor, vengan temprano, diviértanse y después podrán continuar mirando los animales. Number 17. Número 17. ¿Dónde tendrá lugar la exhibición? And for those who say it's blurry, go to settings and put it to 720p. Persons are saying that it fixed there, so that's awesome. All right, number 18, número 18. ¿Qué deben hacer las personas que quieren ver la exhibición? And number 19. Después de la exhibición, ¿qué pueden hacer las personas? So this is the 2008 specimen paper for those who are just joining. And for those who are on, thank you for joining. Okay, seguimos. We will now move to the next section of the paper. That's section 4. Let me just scroll up so you can see it. And section 4. It says a passage in Spanish has just been read to you. You may now study the questions and make notes. You must select the best answer and blacken the corresponding letters. Now the instructions, the passage should be read at a normal pace. So you will hear this question and there are no explanatory gestures that can be used. So you'll see. All right, so I shall read the passage straight through once. Listen carefully as I read. I shall then instruct you to look at the questions in English on the text. 3 minutes will be allowed for you to read the questions and make notes. There are two groups of questions. I shall read the passage again, but this time in two parts. When I've finished reading part A, but not before, you'll be given 5 minutes in which to select your answers for the first group of questions. You must select the best answers and blacken the corresponding letter on the answer sheet provided. This procedure will be then repeated for part B. I shall then read the passage a third time straight through, and you will be allowed to answer the questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. I'm going to read the passage straight through once, as I said before. All right, vamos. A dream come true. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa de tener una boda feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana, así que a las 9:30 Lola ya estaba lista. Ella estaba muy bonita y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco. Llevaba un ramo de orquídeas bonitas y se veía muy contenta. Lola, su papá y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una noticia mala en la radio. Había ocurrido un accidente terrible en la ciudad en el cual resultaron heridas 3 personas. Una de ellas, Enrique, el novio de Lola. Lola se cayó al suelo, llorando y gritando. Todos estaban confundidas y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó y sus amigos empezaron a llorar también. De repente, el teléfono sonó y el papá de Lola contestó. Era Enrique y le dijo que había una equivocación. Él estaba vivo y listo para su boda. Lola indudablemente supo entonces que sería el día más feliz de su vida. Now you have 3 minutes, 3 minutos, 3 minutes to look at the questions. Let me make sure you can see the questions. Part A and Part B. So you're going to look at the questions. You have 3 minutes, 3 minutos. Ok, 3 minutos. Hola Whitney, seguimos. So I'm going to read part A and then part B, and then I'm going to read it through. So part A. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa de tener una boda feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana, así que a las 9:30 Lola ya estaba lista. Ella estaba muy bonita y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco. Llevaba un ramo de orquídeas bonitas y se veía muy contenta. Lola, su papá y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una noticia mala en la radio. All right, so now you have 5 minutes to select the correct answers for part A. Your 5 minutes ends at 5:59 or 4:59 or 59, wherever you're at. If you're just coming on, we're still here. You have 2 minutes remaining, and then I'm going to read part B. Okay, part B. Había ocurrido un accidente terrible en la ciudad en el cual resultaron heridas 3. Ok. Había ocurrido un accidente terrible en la ciudad en el cual resultaron heridas 3 personas. Una de ellas, Enrique, el novio de Lola. Lola se cayó al suelo, llorando y gritando. Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó y sus amigas empezaron a llorar también. De repente, el teléfono sonó y el papá de Lola contestó. Era Enrique y le dijo que había una equivocación. Él estaba vivo y listo para su boda. Lola indudablemente supo entonces que sería el día más feliz de su vida. 5 minutos. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to read it once more. Let me give you 1 more minute, then I read it once more. Okay, this time I'll read it all the way through. In the exam, you'd get 5 minutes. That was about 3. So, seguimos. A dream come true. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa de tener una boda feliz y romántica. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana. Así, a las 9:30, Lola ya estaba lista. Ella estaba muy bonita y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco. Llevaba un ramo de orquídeas bonitas y se veía muy contenta. Lola, su papá y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una noticia mala en la radio. Había ocurrido un accidente terrible en la ciudad en el cual resultaron heridas 3 personas. Una de ellas, Enrique, el novio de Lola. Lola se cayó al suelo, llorando y gritando. Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. La mamá de Lola se desmayó y sus amigos empezaron a llorar también. De repente, el teléfono sonó y el papá de Lola contestó. era Enrique y le dijo que había una equivocación. Él estaba vivo y listo para su boda. Lola indudablemente supo entonces que sería el día más feliz de su vida. All right, gonna give you some time. This is the end of the listening comprehension. Now go on and work through the reading comprehension as quickly and carefully as you can. If you cannot answer a question, omit it and go to the next one. You can come back to the harder questions later. I'm going to give you 2 minutes and then we're going to go through the answer before we look at the reading comprehension. So, 2 minutos más. 2 minutos y después vamos a hablar. Yo quiero ver sus respuestas. Ok. Hola, Jonathan. Hola, hola. Estoy bien, gracias. All right. So let's go. Número 1. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'll go back up to the top of the paper and I want to hear what you have. So, for number 1, what's the answer you have for number 1? Section 1, number 1. Let's see your answers in the chat. Grayson, ¿todo está bien? ¿Está bien, Grayson? All right. Let's go. Put your answers in the chat for A. Number 1, sorry. What's your answer? Remember that number 1 said, no se sienten bien. All right, I'm seeing Demario's answer. Demario says D. Anybody else? Bad Paul says D. All right, so the correct answer is D. So we're looking at the picture and we look at the one that says they're not feeling well. All right, let's look at number 2. Número 2. Los jóvenes con su perro charlan al aire libre. What's the answer? Which picture? Número 2. Right, but if you're writing your answers, put 2 and then D or 2 and then A. So we know which one. Don't just write D. Because when we're watching it back, it might come out at a slower pace. So write the number and your answer. All right, okay, the answer is C. Number 3. Número 3. All right, number 3 had said, ambos caminan hacia la playa. Ambos. First, we need to know what is ambos saying. So let's use the process of elimination. Ambos means what? ¿Qué significa ambos? Anybody knows? Ambos caminan hacia la playa. Guys, ¿qué significa ambos? Both? All right. And it says hacia la playa. So that means they're going towards the beach. Because we can see from the picture there are 4 pictures. Can be A because A has 3 persons. D has 3 persons. So that's what we say. These are distractors. These are just there. So now the answer could be A or B because it has ambos. It has both persons, 2 persons. But one person is in one picture, they're not walking towards the beach. So that means the correct answer must be, what's the correct answer? And the verb in this sentence is caminan. Ambos caminan hacia la playa. So 3C. Muy bien. Número 4. Number 4. Los señores van a comer enseguida. Los señores van a comer enseguida. And the answer is, what's the answer for 4? Yes, number 3C, number 4. Let me see your answers for number 4. What did you have? For number 4, I'm seeing C. Very good. C, because the 2 persons are about to eat. All right, number 5 is D, as in Delta. I hope that's what you had. D. Number 6, B, as in boy. Number 7, A, as in apple. Number 7A. Number 8, A, as in apple. Number 9, D, as in delta. Number 10, C, as in cat. Number 10, C, as in cat. Number 11, also C, as in cat, or comma. 12, B, as in boy, or bolsa. B, as in bolsa. 13, D, as in dado. D, as in dado. 14, also D, as in dado. 15, 15, B, as in boy, or bolsa. 16, C, as in cat, or contenta. 16, C, as in contenta. All right. Number 17, B, as in boy, en el Parque Dorado. B. Number 18, C, llegar a tiempo. C. 19, 19B, as in boy, seguir admirando los animales. 20, 20, A, en una tienda. 21, B, una oferta. And guys, we're gonna see how many you got. This is just for you to gauge where you're at. 21, 21, B, as in boy, bolsa. 22, A, as in apple, o amarillo, en 20 minutos. 23, A as in apple, she wanted a happy wedding. 24. D as in Delta or Dado. Why did she get ready at 9:30? To be on time for her wedding. So that's D. 25. What did she carry in her hand? The answer is C, a bouquet. 26. What happened when it was time to leave the house? For 26, they heard some bad news on the radio. So that's D. What did they hear on the radio? For 27, A. Lola's boyfriend was injured in an accident. What about 28? How did Lola react? How did Lola react to the news? Well, for 28, it says B. She fell on the floor crying and screaming. 29. What was Lola's father told on the phone? What was Lola's father told on the phone? D. Enrique was alive. And 30. What did Lola believe then? It was going to be her happiest day. 30. All right? So, those are the answers for the listening comprehension. I'm also going to share the answer sheet. However, for 15 on the answer sheet, it's saying it's D, but it's B. B is the answer. All right. Everybody's okay? Todo está bien? Let me hear your thoughts on the listening section in the chat. Let me hear what you have to say. What do you think? What do you need help with? What are your concerns? Dime. Ah, 24. Muy bien. See, Demaria says I got 24. Guys, let me hear your thoughts before I move on to the last section of the paper. I got number 30 on the last read. Muy bien, muy bien. 28, muy bien. I can see that some persons have been practicing, and you've been going to the sessions. Maybe the ones put on by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Spanish Jamaican Foundation. And I know you're teachers and you're watching videos. So as I said, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Share it with somebody else. Check out Renee Grant's channel, Hispanic Connection. That's another channel. Shania Gay Lawrence, that's another channel. There are a lot of channels. Now I'm going to read the next part now. I'm going to do the next part. I'm going to share the screen and you guys will answer and then I'll give you your responses. So I'm going to scroll down. I can see that we've been here for some time. So I want to make sure that, because I know the exam is tomorrow. So for this section, each of the following sentence contains a blank space. Below each one are 4 suggested answers. Select the answer which best describes or completes the sentence. Then you're going to shade the corresponding space on the answer sheet. So I am going to be showing you the screen. You're going to select your answers and then I'll scroll down. Whenever you've finished the first 4, well, you have 4 minutes for this part because it's 30 minutes for the last part. That means a minute per question. So 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, I'm going to scroll up. All right. So go ahead. And then I'm going to scroll down and continue. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next section. So let me just zoom this so that you can see it clearly. Or you guys want us to just go through these together? No, let me see what your answers would have been. Okay, seguimos. Gonna scroll up. So for this section, contains blank spaces indicating that words are left out. For each blank, there are 4 suggested responses. Select the response for each blank that is best in the context, then blank the corresponding answer. So the example, Carlos, la casa fue dash el año pasado y ahora dash muy bonita. So the answer based on this, la casa fue pintada el año pasado y ahora está muy bonita. All right, so we're looking at this one. Una experiencia fenomenal. So you'll have to complete these to 44. You'll have approximately 6 minutes, but in the interest of time, I'm going to give you a little less. All right, muy bien. Seguimos. Gonna move up to section 3. Continuing. Encuentro con una vendedora panameña. All right, so you need to see this part. I'm going to ask you to screenshot this. Guys, can you screenshot this? Because I need to scroll up so that you can. Otherwise, I'll have to make it smaller. And I don't think you guys are able to see it. So I'm going to zoom this part so that you can screenshot it. And then I'm going to go down to the answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now I'm going to put the answers, the multiple choice questions, they're right here. 45 to 52. So let's go. All right. Give you a little more time and then I'll come back to move to the next section. We're almost there. You're doing so well. Thank you for staying. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being awesome. And remember that the only person that can stop you is you. La única persona que puede detenerte eres tú. So I'm so proud of you. And I know that tomorrow you're going to go and do well. Okay, let me just go back up so you can screenshot it. And then I'm going to move down. All right, so here's the part that I think you want to screenshot. Then I'm going to move down to the last section. All right, so let's go down to The last section, so you're going to read it carefully for comprehension. Each selection is followed by a number of incomplete statements or questions. Select the completion or answer which is best according to the information given in the selection. Then you are going to shade the corresponding answer on the answer sheet, and there are no sample answers for this. So let's look at this. It says Salon Venus. So screenshot this for me, please, por favor. Let me zoom. Porfa. All right, and here are your questions that follow. We're almost there, guys. You're awesome. Thank you for sharing too. I see persons are sharing. I see persons coming on. Thank you. Gracias. Okay, seguimos. We're going to look at another selection, and this is the last section of the exam. So let's look. All right, and here are the last set of questions. Guys, you did so well. You're doing so well, and we are going to see how well you did with this section. All right, once you're ready, please write listo or lista in the chat. Listo slash if you're a girl, lista, or you can write estoy lista, and the males will write estoy listo. Okay, listos. Ready, ready, ready. Están listos? All right. So let's look at the answers. What do you have for number 31? 31. Let me see your responses. Write 31 and then write your answer. At least the first 5 we're going to do together and then I start telling you the responses. Let's go. Vamos. Let me go to 30. And I want to hear how you're thinking and why you chose it. Voy, 31, sorry. Voy a leer y hacer mis deberes en. What was your answer? Hold on, Johan. 31A. Why did you choose A? What is la biblioteca? ¿Qué significa la biblioteca? We're going to do the first 5 together and then I'm just going to tell you the answers for the next and you match them. Let's go. ¿Qué significa la biblioteca? ¿Y qué significa la librería? La librera, la estantería. So it says, voy a leer. ¿Qué significa voy a leer? I am going to read and do my homework in the, and so it's important to know. So biblioteca is library and libreria is bookstore. So it makes more sense for you to say, I'm going to read and do my homework in the library. Muy bien. Seguimos. 32. 32. Let's see. What do you have at 32? Los empleados se niegan a entrar en la fábrica porque hay trabajo, dinero, huelga o empleo. So the subject of the sentence is, who are the persons? Who are we talking about? Los empleados se niegan a entrar. Where are they not going into? La fábrica. Porque couldn't be that they're going there because they're not going there because there's money or work. Can't be because they're jobs. So the correct answer must be C. All right. Muy bien. 32C. 33. Hace 2 meses que no llueve. La tierra está muy. So it says, hace 2 meses que no llueve. What is no llueve say? So it has been 2 months que no llueve. What is that? ¿Qué significa? ¿Qué significa llueve? Right. It has not rained in 2 months. Right. So no rain. It means that la tierra. ¿Qué significa la tierra? La tierra. So there has been no rain, and it means that what is tierra? The earth. Muy bien, Tony. The earth is muy, can't be very lluviosa, can't be cansada, couldn't be that the earth is tired, and it can't be fresca. So it must be B. 33 is B as in bolsa. 34. No me gusta el pollo hervido. Prefiero comerlo rosado, enfriado, asado, or barbecue. Can't be barbecue, can't be rosado. So, what's the answer for 34? 34. Number 34 is C, asado. Muy bien. 35. And then after that, I'm just going to go through the responses. 35. He perdido la dash y ahora no puedo abrir la puerta. So, I've lost the dash and now no puedo abrir. I cannot open. What can I not open? La puerta. ¿Qué significa la puerta? The door. So, what is it? Memoria, cerradura, voluntad, or llave? Or llave, depending on how you pronounce LL. Llave or llave. So, which is the correct answer for 35? 35, D as in Delta. Muy bien. 36, C. Para lavar la ropa tengo todos menos el jabón. And you see where we have falsos amigos? La sopa is A. And if you don't read it carefully, you say, oh, yeah, I want to wash your clothes. I don't have any soap. But la sopa is not soap. El jamón is close to jabón, but you're looking for C. All right, so the answer for 36 is C. 37. Acabo de ganar la lotería. Me siento. Can't be descontento. You can't just win the lottery and feel. So you have to look at the word. So 37 is B. 38, A. 38 is A as in apple. 39, 39, B as in boy. Me encuentro. 40, D as in dedo. Junto. 40, junto. 41, A como amarillo. Edificada. 42, 42. D, la raíz. 43, D, impresionante. 44, B, la cual. 45, B, no me hace caso. 46, D, como dedo. Le escrito. 47, C, acercarse. 48, A, dinero. 49, 49, A, despreciarme. 50, B, melo. B as in boy. 50 is B. 51 también es B. Entiendan. And 52, 52 is A. Igualmente. Let's go to 53. ¿Quiénes pueden visitar este salón? ¿Quiénes pueden visitar este salón? La respuesta es D. Personas de por lo menos 18 años. 54. ¿De dónde son los especialistas? B. De Europa. 54 is B. 55. 55. The answer is B. B. Como bolsa. 56. A. Como amarillo. Para hacer una cita. 57. B. Una niña se hizo daño. 58. Al caerse del árbol, la niña A. No se movió. 58. And 59, the answer is D, de. Trabajaba en el jardín. And the final one is A, avergonzada. Lo siento, temerosa. 60A. 59D. 68. Temerosa. ¿Cómo se sintió la madre al ver caer a su hija? Temerosa. Couldn't be angry. Well, she could be, but she's not. She wasn't angry based on the passage. Can't be happy. Can't be alegre. And she would not be ashamed. She's more fearful. She was worried. All right, so let's see, guys. Let's hear from you where you're at. How was it? Any questions? Any questions before I go? Tienen preguntas? And for everybody who has joined, Tias, Bianca, Leah K, Joanne, Demario, Janice, Tawny. Let me just make sure. Janice, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Tawny, Rose TV, Bad Paul, Neval, Italia, De Mario, Shakira, Giovanni, Grace, todo el mundo. Shardin, Whitney, Renee, Pearly White, Giovanni, Kayla. Guys, I'm giving you some time to put in your questions. Si tienen preguntas, Jodian, Campbell, Giovanni. No, no. Naheem, that's not the energy that we entertain on this channel. Not at all. You are not going to fail. You are going to do well. You are going to practice. You still have some time until tomorrow. And you are going to show up. You are going to listen. And you are going to do well. Kali, why are we crying? You're excited that you are going to do so well tomorrow? I'm excited for you, but I don't want to see any crying. Remember, I said it earlier. Do not go in there with the preconceived notion that I'm failing, that I don't know what to do, that I won't be able to do well. No, you guys are amazing. You're awesome. Your teacher would have selected you for the subject because of your awesomeness, because of your greatness. And sometimes we don't see your greatness, but others do. But I want you to take this time to think about how awesome you are, how you would have done paper one. Well, you're gonna do paper one tomorrow, but you'd have done the paper three, which is the oral, paper two, which is the written, and you have the final paper left. Please, guys, you have the final paper left. I don't want to hear I'm gonna fall. All right, Demaria, I see you. But guys, I know that you are going to do well. I know that you're practicing. Again, I have some videos here on my channel. I have videos talking about 5 tenses that you must know in Spanish. I also have videos about the reflexive verbs, about conjugating AR and ER verbs. I have a YouTube a playlist for CSEC. So I know that you guys will do well. So keep practicing and ensure that you go to your bed on time so that you can rest. You can even practice this another time to see and decide if it gets better. And let me hear if you have any further questions. What other questions you have? I want to hear from you. I want to hear your questions. And I just want to thank you for showing up. We've been here for over 2 hours. So muchísimas gracias. Tomorrow, just prepare, listen. You are ready. And just, you might want to get some adjectives, look for some of the vocabulary, and look at everything in context. Don't just say, start studying vocabulary tonight. All right? Anything else? Any other questions? Any concerns? before I go? Preguntas? Preguntas? See, no? Well, I'm so proud of you guys. I remember when I was at this stage. Um, so I understand that you are feeling anxious and nervous, but you will do well. And prayer without work or faith without work makes no sense. But once you put in the work, say your prayers, get ready tomorrow, show up. Please, I'm asking you, ensure that you are on time. Check the time for the exam. It's better to be there way earlier than to be late. I don't know who is some of y'all. Yeah, but I understand. No, there are some instructions on how to read the paper, so it's not that they're gonna be reading fast because there's a section to say read at a normal pace, and so it's okay. No te preocupes. You guys are gonna do so well. Let me tell you, don't go in there stressing out yourself. You are gonna go in there, you're gonna prepare, you're preparing for the exam, you have prepared. Just go in, make sure you have your tools, make sure you're on time so you're not rushing, and you are gonna do well. I look forward to hearing how great you did. You can comment below the video, you can send me messages on Instagram. I always love hearing those testimonials and hearing from you. And I know you're gonna do well. I have faith in you. I have faith in you. So tengan ustedes una buena tarde. Um, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Share with somebody else and let them subscribe. Thank you for being a part of Hibbert Nation. All of you are a part of Hibbert Nation because that's my last name. So I just did hashtag Hibbert Nation. So you're all a member of Hibbert Nation. So turn on your notification. Muchísimas gracias. Tengan una buena tarde. Buena suerte. Adios. Ciao, ciao, ciao. And those who are saying that they're scared, I'm sending you a big hug, sending you off, positive vibes, positive energy, and you are going to do well. Now, if you Anthony, you can always rewatch the video. I'm going to save the live right now so you'll see it. And for anybody else who wants to share the live with somebody else, you can tell them to watch it. Oh, gracias, te amo. Um, but don't worry, I'll be doing more videos. My channels are here, and as I said, I've always said, you guys can request the videos that you want related to Spanish and technology. Okay? Ciao, ciao, ciao. Nos vemos pronto. Buena suerte. Adiós.